Hello cats and kittens, I'm Lex and I am your crochet fiberist. Please prepare to fiber. It has been a wonderful week for me. I hope it's been the same for you. Today is November 10th, 2015, and it is a balmy early 60s, late 50s here in NorCal, the Silicon Valley. I am the crochet fiberist, so you can get a hint of what I'm into with the name. This is a crochet dominant podcast, and there's spinning and fiber talk and just whatever is in my world that I'd like to share with you. I'd like to welcome all my listeners, the new folks. If you're new, I'm glad you're here. If you're returning, thank you. And we are up to 20 subscribers, so I'm really, really excited about that. And I know I promised you guys giveaway for 10 subscribers, but we're at 20, so I decided to do something a little bit different. And I think we can talk about that now because we're kind of in the prologue of our podcast. I mentioned, I think last episode, that I am a fledgling crochet designer, and there are some patterns that I've done in the past that I really, really am passionate about, and I want to kind of share it with you. So if you're interested in this current giveaway, I want you to comment at in the comment section of the YouTube channel and tell me, and just let me know your favorite crochet shawl pattern. This is what I'm going to offer for whoever wins the giveaway. I think I've shown you the various versions of this shawl. This is the current one I'm wearing religiously. This is my ziggurat. It is, I've done it in lace. I've done it in a lot of different ways. And actually this is going to segue eventually into my bucket list project. And it's pretty long and pretty dramatic and gorgeous. And I'd like to offer that pattern as a prize. And because everybody needs yarn, the other thing I will pair with that is some of this. This is 2, 3, 4. This is the Fiber Company Meadow, and the blend is merino wool, baby llama, silk, and linen. And it's 100 grams, and it's 545 yards. And the colorway is violet. I'm going to hold this here so you can kind of get the gist of it. It is beautiful. I have an interesting shawl I made out of it in the red colorway, and I love this yarn. It's really sturdy. It's great for lace. You can see the bits of linen peeking out, and that makes for a really interesting fabric. And yeah, it's just a gorgeous piece. It's just a gorgeous yarn. So I'm going to offer this and the ziggurat pattern, and I'm going to open the giveaway starting today, and I'm going to close it Black Friday midnight, because it'll just be something to stuff in your stocking for the holiday season. And I will choose a winner the episode following. So it wouldn't be if I'm doing a rediscovered stitches class, it wouldn't be in that episode. It would be in a full regular Tuesday episode. So I will jot down all the rules and such in the down bar, and probably by the time we get to Black Friday, I will have a Ravelry podcast group, and I will reiterate that there. So if you're interested, in the comments below, tell me what your favorite crochet shawl pattern is. So there's that. let's see, what other news do I have to impart? I have some thank yous. The Crafty Nomad mentioned me in her most recent episode. Thank you so, so much. I love watching her podcast. She's into a little bit of everything, and it's frenetically awesome. And I definitely identify with that kind of, you're working on a lot of different things just because your interest can't be held on just one thing. I have a lot of fibrous friends who are monogamous stitchers, whether crochet, knitting, whatever. I've never been that person, and most of the people I tend to be intrigued with aren't either. They just work with a bunch of other things. So yes, definitely a shout out to the Crafty Nomad. She's pretty awesome. I'll link her in the show notes. And Desert Mom, you're just awesome, just in general. Every time she has a Thanksgiving giveaway, you should watch her latest episode. And I love the sentiment behind her giveaway mentality. And yeah, just, you should watch her. If you're watching me, you probably watched her first. If you haven't watched her, please watch her, and I'm gonna link her in the show notes as well. And I want to say thank you to Yarnelf and icrochet for their congratulations. Again, I'm just so excited. I have congratulations on my job. I have an orientation tomorrow, so once I get done posting or filming this, I've got to go get gussied up and do a bunch of other stuff to get ready to meet my fellow co-workers and the like. So thank you so much. We've got a lot to do. We're at 7 minutes. Wow, is there anything else? Oh, right. This technically should be in finished objects, and I think I'm going to make that a segment, just because a lot of times I don't mention a project that I may have finished during the week, but I didn't wear in Wearable Art. So I think we're going to have Unhooked, which is my finished product segment. So actually we can go there first, and then we'll go to kitting it out, because the first thing is something that I've promised the folks who take a look at my Rediscovered Stitches course, and that is linked with everything. That's my companion episode to, so 7A was when I discussed my new pattern, and it uses the first 6 rows, or the first 6 to 8 rows in the last 6 to 8 rows use a stitch that we've been talking about, and that is the Trinity stitch. I finished this cowl. Let me put the other one down. This is the Berrily Cowl. And this is in Lion Brand Scarfy. And this is about 150 yards, and it turned out really well. I'm really thrilled with this piece. And if you watch episode 7A, you will see that there is a code in the video, and if you put that code in the coupon code section of the pattern page on Ravelry, you will get this pattern for free on Ravelry for 2 weeks. So there's that, and this is Berrily, the larger version. So, and this was made out of Bernat alpaca, and I am so excited about this project. It is it's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the cross shells. You should be able to see them. It's just gorgeous, and I think it's a really, really, I wouldn't say it's easy. I would say it's probably, if you're an adventurous advanced beginner, or you're an intermediate crocheter. So if you if you know how to work with different stitch patterns, that's the way to go. That's the way. This is a really simple piece for you, and you learn, you do the Trinity stitch, and then you're doing a variation of the crossed shell stitch. And once you do one row of that, the only thing that makes this project a little complicated is that you turn in the round. And I know that doesn't happen very often, but I'm going to be putting out another episode, another Rediscovered Stitches episode. I told you I was going to do it every other week, but because I had part 1 this week, I think part 2 will come out on Saturday, and I will go through the cross shell stitch and just show you how that's done. And once you see a round, so you'd see round 1 and round 2 of that, that's all you need to see to really understand what's going on. And you repeat that for a while, and then you do one more stitch pattern, which a shell stitch. And once you do that, everything else is back to normal. So I'm going to offer that on Saturday, so stay tuned if you're interested. So that's one finished object. Here is another. I think I had this on the hook when I was on my last episode. This is my Beale Hat. I'm wearing one right now. I've just been doing different renditions of this hat, making, if you can see, there is a twisted rib. Let's see. We've got a twisted rib here going up. That horseshoe cable, but what I did in the middle of the horseshoe cable, because I think we've talked about that, the horseshoe cable works, and by the way, this is Tunisian, like I said, folded hem, and the horseshoe cable works when you're working a cable next to a cable, and the difference is which way the twist goes. So one cable, the twist is going this way, and the other cable, the twist is going that way, and it creates this very interesting undulating effect. So that's what I did. There we go. That's what I did. But the other thing I did was twist the inner stitches that were used. So you'd have a little twist in the middle of the horseshoe cable, and that gave it a really interesting effect because it kind of married the stitches together, and so it doesn't look like the other stitches. And of course and for this project I used a simple Tunisian weave simple stitch for the cables, and I really like this one. I don't like the color, so it's probably going to be a gift. Maybe I will, once I weave in the ends, maybe I will donate this. There's a couple of LYSs that are always collecting hats, so I might do that. It fits really well. It just bums me out that I don't like the colorway. And the yarn itself is beautiful and really easy to work with. 4 hours, didn't take very long at all. I used, trying to remember, Madeline Tosh worsted 80-10-10. That's an MCN. Merino cashmere nylon. It was about 178 yards per 100 grams. I probably used about 100 yards. And what else to say about it? I just really like the way it turned out. I intend to make another one of these with colors I like a little bit better. I think this is my favorite version of the Beale Hat so far because the single stitches, sorry, I apologize for the light. The sun's going down, and I did not take into account the way the sun was working against me, so please forgive me. So I like the simple stitch. You get a lot more texture, and I find that really fascinating. So that's something I finished. And where's the other one, for Pete's sake? Why does this always happen to me? Ugh. Especially since I love this piece so much. Give me a second. I finished 2 homely Denim Bags. And oh, there it is. And I know they're very homely. They really are, but I am enjoying the process of making them so much. I can't stop making them. So here is one. As you can tell, I had a little boo-boo right there. I'm thinking of maybe working up like a flower or something in this fiber, in this yarn, and sticking it there because of the boo-boo. The yarn is handspun that I spun, and it's from the Cognitive Fiber Retreat. One year our colorway was green for some reason. I don't remember why. I believe this is BFL, and this is a lace weight. And yeah, this is good for socks. I just like it. I'm refining my skill though, so I think the one I finished most recently is much better. And let me show you. This is actually my favorite one right now. This is the one I finished last night, and I decided that a motif would be perfect. So I hunted down. I have a book called The Encyclopedia of Crochet, and it has a ton of different stitch patterns, and I chose a motif I liked and stitched it onto the front. It is another drawstring. I like that a lot, and it's perfect. I figured out how to stitch so you can't see it. I kind of set up a station for it so I can kind of sit in my bedroom and kind of plan everything out. And oh my gosh, I'm so pleased with this one. I can't wait. If the other ones turn out this well, I am going to give them as, these are going to be gift bags for some people in my life. And I might, we'll see. I think either next month or this year, institute a fiber story swap, where I would urge somebody to create, like maybe add some yarn and some fiber and maybe a favorite pattern or something, and swap that with somebody in our group. But we're going to get a Ravelry group soon, so until then, I just love making these, and I'll be making some more. The yarn is a little heavier than what I normally use, but it is a BFL silk blend. I believe this is Fraptus Fibers. I believe this might be a 3-ply or a really heavy 2-ply. This was some early handspun that just never went anywhere. So there's that. And my favorite piece. Oh, of course it did. Sorry. One of my favorite pieces just got quasi done. This is I should take a picture of myself in it. I might put a picture of this on Instagram and Ravelry. This is my Easily cardigan. It is remarkably wonderful. It is made out of ton of wool, which is a Cormo. It's a 10-ply Cormo yarn. I used all of one skein, which is why it doesn't have sleeves, because if I did the sleeves, I'd have to break into my second skein, and I can't get that yarn ever again, probably, and really chaps my hide. Anyway, so let me show you some of the things I really love about it. There are some interesting stitch patterns. I don't know if you can see it. This is like a crossed stitch cable, or cross stitch rib all the way through. I really like that. And then it ends with a Tunisian weave simple stitch, which is super cool. And I love how it turned out. I wear it with my format tunic, the yellow one that I'm always talking about, and these two look so cool together. I'm really excited. The weather is starting to get crisp, And this is good because I can wear it under long sleeve shirt, over long sleeve shirts, and it'll keep me warm. It'll keep my core warm. So that is the third piece that I finished this week. Alrighty. So now we'll go to kitting it out. And let's see. Kitting it out, I did what I promised I would do, and that is if I'm working, particularly this is important for Tunisian, but I'll try to do it with all my, even my regular crochet, get to the end of the row and then show you what I've done. So hopefully I've done that with everything. I think I have. So let me show you what's in this bag. This is my Cognitive 6 bag that I got at Cognitive Fiber Retreat. And here is, sorry, here, let me show you. Here is the beginnings of my Faux-weight cardigan. This is an homage to the featherweight cardigan that is so super popular. I honestly, I want to divide for sleeves right now. Let me get a better picture. I want to divide for sleeves right now. I really want to. But I've been told, not I've been told, but the way this is going, I really, if I want it to fit the way it should fit, it's going to look like this, what I'm wearing now. If I want it to work the way I want it to work, it needs an extra 3 rows, and I'm just really impatient because these rows take an eternity. I have to get to 25 stitches in the front and on both sides. I think I'm at 22 or 23. So I don't have much to do before I can divide for sleeves, but sometimes sitting here and working on it is just, it takes forever. And it doesn't help that for this version I am using a 4.25 Tunisian hook. For this one I used, I think, an H, and I think that helped the project go along a lot faster. But I think this is going to turn out really good. The yarn is, I don't have the something, but here's what it looks like. And this is yak silk. It's Jade Sapphire Khata in the colorway Nothingness. It is a standard lace weight, 50/50 yak silk, 700 yards. So it's coming along. I don't anticipate anything. I'm not sure there'll be anything else to show next week on this one, but it is something that's in the works. This might become Desert Mum a floater. Just something I work on even though it's not a top priority. So that's being worked on. And let's see. I have started an ETS again. ETS are my experimental Tunisian socks. So last time I left these ETS, I was making toes, just starting toes. So if I ever wanted to start another sock, I could just grab my Tunisian hook and start working. But here it is so far. I think this is 5 rounds, I think. And it is, I increase for 3 rows and then I work straight until I separate for the afterthought heel and then work a couple of rounds and then I'm done. Because I don't like long socks. I like very, like fitties almost. And these are perfect. I think I'll probably finish these today. I don't know. I think I'm going to be very busy today after this episode, so we'll see. But I'm using, this yarn is Breathless Shalimar, and that is merino cashmere silk in a fingering weight, and the color is heraldic, yes. It's purples and blues, and it's really soft and very pastel and not normally my cup of tea, but I really like the color. And the body, I believe, I can't swear to this because I don't remember. I think this is Skinny Bugga, back when, before the Verdant griffin was the Sanguine griffin. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. I think she still has a Skinny Bugga as an option, and it's a MCN, I think 801010. And it's just squishy. I love it. I love the way this comes out. I'm normally not a huge fan of MCNs, particularly the 801010 configuration, but this and Handmaiden, is it Handmaiden or Fleece Artist? One of them. I think they're a mother-daughter company. One is Handmaiden, the other is Fleece Artist. Anyway, there are only a couple of MCNs that I really enjoy in the 80-10-10 configuration, and this is one of them. So it's in, what is this? My Sonia Keswick bag. I'm still on the hunt for more of these bags because they're so useful to me. So there's that. I've got a lot to talk about, and I'm 30 minutes in. Yeeps. So I think last week I talked about this pattern, and I've done three repeats on it. This is my Bijou Deconstructed, and let me show you what it looks like so far, because I finally have a lot to show you. I'm on the 4th repeat. I think I have 6 more for this version, and I think in the new year I might do a cowl with Bijou Deconstructed, and when I do that I will probably have we'll have prizes and it'll be fun, but it's working up nicely. It's funny, I'm pleased with it, but I know it's gonna look so much better once it's blocked. And now I'm just like, but I know lace for the most part is best shown when it's blocked. So yeah, the yarn's really pleasant to work with. This is an MYS Merino Yak Silk Blend 60-20-20 is the configuration, I believe. And the yarn is Greenwood Fiberworks, and the yarn is Yakity Yak. The colorway is Blue Raspberry. So I'm working on that. That's a podcast. That's one of my podcast projects while I'm watching things. So it's actually getting a lot more love than some of my other things. Let's see. What is this? Oh, I had a little bit of startitis, and I was telling you guys about the Berrily Cowl, and I decided to start another one. And as you can see, I've gotten, well, maybe you won't be able to tell, but I got through the first set of repeats. This is the first 6 rows. I'm doing a large version, and I really love the way it's coming out. This yarn is Rowan Fine Art Aran. I don't remember what the colorway is, but it's on my project page. But here it is. It is Fine Art Aran. I love Rowan yarns because they have such a different aesthetic. A lot of American yarns feel, even the stuff that you don't, even at an LYS, there's a part of it that feels very commercialized. I never felt that way with Rowan, and I don't know why. Maybe it's perception. I don't know. But anyway, I have 2 skeins of this, and I'm already working through one on this. It's 186 yards, and it is, let's see, it is wool, mohair, alpaca, and silk. So if you watched episode 7A, I had some criteria or some good suggestions about the kind of yarn you should consider. And this meets a lot of the criteria. It's got nice drape. It's going to have fantastic drape. It's going to have fantastic shine. The ply structure is amenable to the aesthete. So I started this, and when I do episode 8A, I will be using this to demonstrate how to do the crossed, what is it called? The crossed shell stitch that you need to do on the cowl. So it's kind of it's kind of just waiting for me to post the film the Berrily Cowl episode. So I love it. I love the colors. This is a little bit more wearable than the purple Berrily Cowl that I like. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. So there's that. Sorry, excuse the crinkle. Zutolo. And, oh, I've got 2 more things to show you guys. I think last week, yes I did. Last week I talked about my marathon along, and it's still going on. It's still a personal marathon along, but I realized I don't like watching TV as much as I thought I did. So while this does get worked on when I'm watching the show I'm watching, which is Yu Yu Hakusho, and just put a pin in it, I did not realize that there was a censored version and a non-censored version, and I started watching the censored version, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this kind of language. Yikes. So that kind of, yeah, it was just kind of a surprise. Anyway, so now I'm still watching the show, but I'm doing more reading at the moment. And so I work on this when I'm reading, and I read on my TV. A lot of the books I have now are on the Kindle and things like that, but I like reading on the TV. So I just pop it up there, and I'm working on stuff, and I can read, and it's pretty great. So here's what I've done so far. I know we weren't this far along before, and so here's what it looks like. Now you're going, oh my gosh, it's not going to block out right. I promise you it'll block out right. It always does. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know if you can see, but I'm starting to see the progression of the simple purple into a deeper bluey purple. I'm really excited about that. I think this is going to be gorgeous. I still have half a skein of it left, so I've got a lot of work to do. I'm hoping to get this done by the end of the year and finish my marathon. I think I'll make a different choice for a marathon next year. But yeah, this is really great yarn. This is Oberon from Violet Lynx Dyeworks. I don't think I ever put her on my show notes. I keep saying I'm going to, but I forgot last time I mentioned it. So I'm going to pop her on that. And this is Tunisian crochet. The Oberon is a lace weight, a heavy light. Sorry, give me a second. A heavy lace weight cashmere, 100%, and a gradient from a deep purple to a deep blue. So I'm very excited. I can't wait till this gets done. And finally, the age of my homely bucket bags continues. So I finished one last night, and I was really excited about it. So I started another one. My husband has some pants, so after he decided he wouldn't want to wear them anymore, I washed them and made them into a little bag. I'm not done with it yet. I've got a little holder thing, and I'm working on what I'm going to do from now on for these, just for my own amusement, is maybe put a stitch pattern I'm interested in, maybe a pocket, but I still need to figure out how to do those in an efficient manner. But for this version, the yarn, let's see if you can see the yarn. Isn't that pretty? It is camel silk lace weight, handspun that I spun a while ago. I don't think it ever became anything. I really like it though. So So I'm starting this one. I started this one last night. I seamed up the bottom, which is normally the first thing I do. And here is the stitch pattern I'm going to use. I'm going to sew on the front. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a really pretty lace pattern. I don't know. You guys will be able to see it. I don't know, but I've only done 2 repeats, so I've got a while to go, and when it's done, you'll see it, and I like it. It's a stitch pattern that I'm thinking, it's an adaptation of a regular crochet pattern, and this is Tunisian, and I think it looks really great in Tunisian. So yeah, and this is the little bit that I have of this yarn. It's really pretty. I like it a lot, but I'm finding that I don't, in a perfect world, prefer to work with lace weight just because it takes so long. Though you get some pretty spectacular results. So those are my kits this week. Let's move on to my bucket list project. And I talked about it a little bit in our prologue Newsies section. And that project, and I haven't started it, but I will be, is a ziggurat. I want another ziggurat. So this is the most recent version of it that I've made. But this is not the first version of it. This pattern came along because I think 2011 I was going to a cognitive fiber retreat, hosted by Dr. Gemma, who is the podcaster of Cognitive Podcast, and I will link her in the show notes. She's fantastic, and she just put up a post about CFR 7 this year, so take a look at that. So I wanted to create a project just for that retreat. So I started working. One of my friends was like, "Oh, I like those clapetee." She wanted a crochet version, and there is one. I think it's called a clapechet. Yeah, clapechet or something like that. There's a crochet version, but I wanted to incorporate the idea in Tunisian, but I didn't want to do a one-to-one. So I went into my brain, and this version is, I think, really the official first version. And here it is. It's very, very long. It's very, very skinny, though. And I don't know if you can see, but it features these welts. And these welts are separated by this kind of mesh, and then you have another set of welts, and then some more mesh, and then another set of welts, and ending with a few stitches. And this is all in regular Tunisian. So this is Tunisian knit stitch, placarded by Tunisian purl stitch. And this is really long. The yarn for this is Oasis from Inzula Yarns. I will post that in the show notes as well. And it's a camel silk blend. It's a sport weight, which is awesome. And I used 2 skeins of it. And I loved this so much. So I finally wrote up the pattern, like I said, a couple years ago. So I like this in its scarfy kind of configuration. I like it in the sport weight. But I was getting chilly, so I decided to make one in a larger configuration. So here is the Papa Bear version of my ziggurat, and I did the repeat only once on this one because it's huge, and I love this one. I still wear it all the time once winter hits. It is this is Rimu DK Zia Lana, and that is a possum merino blend. Yes, I know there are some, I don't want to say controversy, but there's definitely a difference of opinion about whether wearing possum fiber is an ethical idea. And that's based on the fact that the animal is X'd. There are reasons. If we had to, you know what, I'm going to link some information in the show notes from the company so they can explain themselves. And I felt their explanation made sense, and so I didn't have a problem buying it. But I just wanted to let you guys know because I want to be honest. So anyway, possum is super, super soft. I believe it's 1 micron, honestly. And New Zealand is known for their merino, so it's really, really soft. I picked this up in a natural color, and I just love this. It's huge, it's squishy. When it's cold, you wrap this all the way around yourself, and it's just incredible. So this is one of my favorite versions. So I had a luxe version, I had the fine version, and now the rustic version. Cascade did a yarn called, I think it's Tangier, a couple years ago, and I am definitely a yarn appreciator, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, and I really like this. So I decided to make a version in this yarn. It's a singles, and I believe it has some, I think it has some mohair. I can't swear to that, but here it is. With this one, I also only did 1 repeat. I really like the way it turned out, and it's more fall than winter, but it keeps me warm, and it's got that really simple quality with jeans and a t-shirt it would look good with. I like this one a lot. So that is the the project, or the bucket list project. I am still sourcing what yarn I will be using for that, and I'm really, really excited. So that was a lot of wording. I'm super psyched. Let me grab my notes and make sure I didn't forget anything. Let's see. I've got some startitis, some things I want to work on, and I'll link these in the show notes. I was trolling Ravelry and just kind of going into the fiber world, and I saw something called the Spicy Diamond Blanket, and I'm going to follow the link, see if it lets me, so I can show you guys, because I really like this, and I think this is going to be one of my handspun projects. This is, I believe, a Dutch website, but the pattern's in English, and it's quite pretty. Come on, you're going to show me or not? Really? Oh, here it is. Sorry. This, you should be able to see it. This is a Spicy Diamond Blanket, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, this is what I could see myself using odds and ends for, or spinning up an entire handspun, a beautiful handspun project. And it's a free pattern on the website, and the website is in English. So it's gorgeous. What I was thinking about doing, so yeah, you can see that's the configuration. So what I was thinking about doing was counting how many different colors they're using, and I think there's 6 colors, and going through my fiber stash and setting aside yarn for this project, and doing it all in natural colors. I think that would be fantastic. I have a bunch of camel in its natural state. I have a bunch of merino camel silk in its natural state. I have a whole bunch of cashmere merino in its natural color. Cashmere merino. Let's see. I think I have some yak. I'll have to check on that. I think I have some merino yak silk. I'll have to think about that for a while, because that one's going to be an issue. I've got some merino mixed with angora, and that would be gorgeous. And then I just have to find some other yarn. Probably the merino, let's the merino that I got processed at Rutzloff Winery. The leftovers from my sweater yarn could go into that, and that would be incredible. I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to cast on that. I don't know, start crowing that. I did say crowing. I mentioned this on episode 7A, and this is what I'm telling you. I used the phrase crow in the same way a knitter uses the word knit, because I think it's a relevant and fair use of the term makes sense given what I do and what a crocheter does. So, so that's one thing I want to do. Here is another thing I saw on Ravelry, and I normally don't follow patterns so much, but I really want to. I want to add that back into my repertoire. Here is a piece that I'm super in love with right now. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I think it's really pretty. And it's an interlock Tunisian wrap, and it's really, really pretty. And the author is Kay Adolphson. It's just really pretty. I could see that being amazing in handspun. So there's that, and there's another thing that I'm starting tonight. Molly, she's Desert Mum of Fiber or Forest Home Fiber Arts, is working on a pattern, and I will let her tell you that. Go to her latest, not her current, the current video she has, but the video before. She's talking about a project pattern that she's writing, and yeah, she's working on a cool blanket, and I'm going to be a tester for that. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to show it before her, but I hate the idea of secret knitting, but I really, really want to get that done for her. So I'm hunting down some yarn for that. And that is, I think, the extent of my startitis. Let's see. We can go through wearable art really quickly. The hat I showed you, yeah. So the hat was worn. Berrily, the large one, was worn. One of my favorite old-time projects. This is 100% alpaca. This is concrete, and it's one of my favorite pieces. And I wore this, and it's dazzling, and it's super warm. So sorry, let me hold that a little bit longer so it doesn't look like I just threw brown at you. So that I wore. Let's see, the tunic, of course, because I love this thing. It's just so perfect for me. There we go. My format tunic, and my corrugated ribbon and handspun, which I love. So those are the things I wore this week. I suspect my wearable art is going to change a little bit once I start the new position, but we'll see. Let's see. We've got things on Spinmeister, and I was going to show you the grayish merino that I've been working on in Pennyworth for my sweater yarn. But I've only gotten a couple of skeins, or a couple of weaving bobbins set up for that. But I always like showing it because Totoro makes an appearance. It is kind of silly. I cleared out the bobbin and started again. So that's what that is. And ouch, 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 ouch. Here it is. The last time I spun, I ended up with 5 bobbins left over. So I've got 4 more, sorry, 4 more in, 4 more completed. And I just popped these on my bobbin winder, and I'll show you that in a second. And I pop the big, the spinning bobbin on one of my Lazy Kates or my industrious Kates. And, oh, for Pete's sake, I'm glad I grabbed that. So I pop my spinning bobbin onto one of my industrious Kates and use the weaving bobbin, the bobbin winder to wind on to the weaving bobbin. And once I move Totoro, bye Totoro. Here we go. Let me move a little bit out of the way. So this is my weaving bobbin, or my bobbin winder, and I pop the weaving bobbin here, and I get one of my lazy Kates, put it around there. I put my weaving, or my spinning bobbin on the weaving bobbin, or the spinning bobbin on the lazy Kate, and wind from the bobbin to the weaving bobbin. And so that's how that happens. And it's one of the people I know, I believe the Knitmore girls have an electric weaving bobbin winder, and I am so jealous because winding onto weaving bobbins can take a lot of time. Sometimes I continue to work on a project just because I don't want to put it on weaving bobbins, even though I find that's the best way to preserve the how the yarn's going to look in the long run. So there's that. Here's the other part of Spinmeister. This is going to be a long episode. I apologize. I try to keep my episodes short, but it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, and I'm okay with that. I have a lot to say, and I'll say it. So, I wanted to introduce you to my spinning basket, and this is kind of stuff that I have and keep in. This is where I keep my spindles and some of my spinning wheel bobbins. I'm going to move the spinning wheel bobbins because, well, I keep them in there. That's not really where they're supposed to go. And I am going to show you guys some of my spindles. I don't have a lot of spindles anymore. I went through a phase where I spun primarily on spindles, and that's before I got my wheels. I'm up to 5 wheels right now. That includes a wedding wheel that a dear, dear friend gave me. It's not just for looking, but it's very, very fragile, so I can only use it sometimes. So there's that. But let me start with this one. This is a medium-sized top whirl, and it spins beautifully. I have some merino silk from Redfish Dyeworks on it, and I picked this up. I think this one was a gift from a friend when I was first getting into spinning. I don't use it so much anymore because most of my spinning is finer than this would support. But if you want some quick and dirty, or you want a medium weight yarn, this is definitely a way to go. Love this one. So there's that one. Here's another one that's kind of a medium weight. And I think this one I got from, I can't even remember what yarn shop I got, but I really liked the wagon wheel seat right there. That's pretty cool. And it has some black alpaca that I got from Dr. Gemma a long time ago when I think one of her alpacas was black, and I think it might have been Surrey. If I'm wrong, forgive me, but I think that's what it was. And she doesn't have that alpaca anymore. I think it passed. But this is what's left of that fiber. It's really beautiful. And again, this is a medium weight. Both of these are probably over an ounce or 2. But they're very well made, and they're gorgeous. The problem is I can't travel with them so well because they're so pretty. I would have to keep these in my carry-on, which isn't a problem, but I don't want to mess them up, which is a problem. So that's those two. And then I enter an interesting spot. I think I showed you this a couple episodes ago when I was working on the llama yarn before I put it on Grayson. This, where is the fennel? Come on, guys, don't. Fennel is going to be forever. Okay, so at one of my LYSs, when I was working in San Jose, I had 2 LYSs. Actually, I had more than that, but there were 2 I went to regularly. And one of them is Pearlescence Yarns, and they're very well known. And they have spindles from this guy named Ken Ledbetter, I believe is his name. Ken Ledbetter. And he is a master craftsperson. It's amazing. Here is his super combo spindle, and here's how it works. This is a bottom whirl, and there is a bottom whirl fennel, and you can also use it as a support spindle, which is super cool. And if that's the configuration you like, that's fine. If you prefer a top whirl, you can attach this top fennel, and you can spin this as a top whirl, which is super awesome. And if you're trying to make sure all your yarn is about even, you get interchangeable, what are these called? I'm so sorry. Interchangeable shafts. And that is so cool. And you just screw them in. It's brilliant. I don't know why anybody hasn't thought of this. Well, I do have an idea of why people haven't thought of this. They were probably concerned about the balance. But this fellow does all sorts of different sizes and weights, and it's beautiful. I just love it. So there's that. I really love this. I think I got this for my birthday this year. Got it for myself. And one more. Well, no, I got 2 more. This is the same person, Ken Ledbetter. Let me show you his card. It's really, it was a, so this is another one of his spindles. The difference is it's an interchangeable shaft, but it's a top whirl. It's a dedicated top whirl. And this one is 0.92 ounces. The other one I showed you was 0.8 ounces, 0.88, I believe. This is 0.9, and I got this right after. I really like this design. He made it out of polymer clay, which is super cool. And the whirl is sycamore, and the fennel right here is purple heart, which is really cool. So it's an interchangeable shaft, and it's really quite lovely. And you can spin a lot finer on this. So I like this a lot. And I keep it in one of my, just in one of the bags I have lying around. This is one of the cosmetic bags I have lying around. So that is where I keep that. Let's see. One more. Well, actually there's another one, but I might have to show that later because it's stored separately. This is my Turkish spindle, and I love it because it is it's one of the most portable of my spindles. So here we go. This is all you need for a spindle. So here we go. This is something I picked up at Retzlaff Winery this year. I've wanted a Turkish spindle for a long time, and prior to this I hadn't spun bottom whirl, and a Turkish spindle is bottom whirl. So I saw this, and I saw that it was super tiny, and I thought it would be great to add to my collection. I don't remember who creates these. There is a signature down there, but it's not readable even to me. But it's 0.3 ounces, so you can spin really fine, which is nice because I have some fibers that are really, really fine that I have to be really careful with. So there is that. I also have a supported spindle, but it's stored separately because I'm afraid it will break. It'll get broken, and that would break my heart. If I get a chance, I will include a picture of her right about here. We'll see. If not, I'll show her next week. Anyway, that is my Spin Meister segment, and those are the tools of my trade. Let's see, is there anything else to talk about today? We are at an hour, so we might not have anything else to talk about today. Oh, I'll talk about that next week. So I think we're done for today. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I had a lot to share, and I love this medium for sharing things. I will see you next week, hopefully Saturday, and then next Tuesday will be our next episode. So happy fibering, and I will see you later. Bye.